So for the last 2 weeks, I have been hunting down portable toolboxes, rollaway boxes, just to have at home, just kind of like a studio box. Something I could possibly use to go to a volunteer job or something like that, or just a nice place to keep my tools. So I plan on heading out to Home Depot and picking up the Ridgid rollaway and the Milwaukee Packout. It's a 3-box combo, comes on wheels. First, I gotta go drop these off at a local shelter, and then from there, we'll see what happens. So the funny thing is that ideally what I wanted in a toolbox was, oh boy, what I wanted in a toolbox was a very large shop toolbox. But I know I don't need a shop toolbox. All I need is something that can come apart, can hold most of my power tools, all my hand tools, some screws and stuff. So if I gotta go do something, some wire nuts, that it's all in there and it's ready for me to go. So yeah, I think a rollaway box is going to be a great idea. I'm going to go pick them up, and then we're going to go back to the studio, and we are going to do a review of what I like about them, what I don't like about them. Now, there's lots of info out there on YouTube about these 2 boxes that I'm picking up, so this is really just going to be me adding to the whole dialogue. All right, let's go. So we're back here. I have both toolboxes, and guys, I really need to show you where this added expense is coming in, because once you really identify it, it makes this choice much easier. Instead of going with run-of-the-mill, inexpensive, you know, looks like it's going to do the job, and it does. It will do the job. And remember, we're talking about toolboxes here. These are not job site boxes, though they could be. You buy a gang box when you're on a job site because everybody's putting their stuff in there, but these are home toolboxes. These are light home improvement toolboxes. These are boxes that, let's just say you're doing some volunteer work. This is like the perfect type of system for a guy like that. All right. Height-wise, they almost look the same. When you really look at these things side by side, you can tell that this one's a little bit taller. It stands a little bit taller. Overall, the length, the height on this topped out highest point, what does that look like? It looks like 33 3/4. Maybe let's call it 34, because of that. The Milwaukee pack out, this is running in at 32 strong, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that's 32 1/4, but it's 32 strong. So you're getting more height on this. Now you might say, well, yeah, that gives you more depth inside. It's better to have more height, but the drawback is fitting it into places. It's getting it to go into somewhere. Something, though they come apart, the taller box won't always be the best. Length, width, all of that. This one, exterior. Now these are exterior measurements. Now let's give you this exterior measurement on each of these, and then what we're going to do is we're going to open up. So exterior measurement, you are looking at edge to edge, furthest point to furthest point. You are looking at 23 strong there. On this side, we are looking at 14 strong. Milwaukee, on the other hand, which is something I gotta say, is it flushes down nicely. The corners, the squareness to the whole design here is really, really nice. And the furthest points are all reinforced, which you don't get with the Ridgid. But measurements, we're looking at 22 across on an exterior measurement. And this way, with the handle, remember we have to incorporate that into this whole thing. I'm going to eyeball this down. We're looking at 20. Now, we'll get to the handles, because the handles are grossly different. And it's not even like it's a little bit here or there. It's grossly different. Let's open this one up. Let's look inside. Okay, division. Get 3 of these. You get a little divider wall that's got a little dovetail built into it, so it kind of slides in and out nicely. If you need more space, you take these out, do what you want. This does not move around, so you can have one big cavity or you can divide it up. Space inside this top box, look at it, I'm just putting that's my pouch that I carry with me every single day. There's not a lot of room left over. It'll close nicely, drop the tape measure in, closes nicely, but there's not a lot of space. Now when we open the Milwaukee, the pack out, so I've already got it built out. The division is better. I've got an impactor, I've got a drill, tape measure, 2 batteries, actually 4 batteries if you count that I got the batteries on the tools, 2 fully charged on there. Instead of little cups, Milwaukee gives you full hard plastic trays that come out. That also can be divided down if you need to have more space inside. So you got that little divider here. I mean, this seals up. Bits, drill bits, miscellaneous stuff. Great stuff just to have on there. This one, same thing, divides that. Open cavity, really nice. I mean, so far, yeah, okay. So far, I'm a fanboy for the red. Not going to deny it. Love Milwaukee tools. Own 0 Ridgid tools. So, and my opinion is swayed to the pack out just by nature of the company and nature of the quality of the tools. But from time to time, you are going to find something that is less expensive, that is of high quality. Is this that time? Let's look at these closures, okay? On the Ridgid, you've got a basic square piece of bent steel that isn't continuous, so it is, you can pull it apart here, you can fix it, you can do what you need. It's not one continuous piece that's added in. Closure, yeah, I mean, it closes. It gives you a small place here. This would not be for a lock because this is plastic. These are all plastic. Maybe a zip tie. Maybe, just need to secure it overnight or secure it in the truck or just to keep your buddy out of it after lunch. A zip tie in there. You're not really running a lotto through there, lockout, tagout lock. You're not doing any of that. You're not putting any sort of lock in there. The Milwaukee has none of that on this closure. The steel alone that they're using, same thing. You know, it's spread apart. Actually, pull it apart if need be, as you can see. Let's put that back in. Holy shit, that is some strong steel. The locking. Look how, just, I mean, even that sound of it closing is just so much more just nice. I mean, open and close. Finger joints all the way through. So it's a piece of steel that's running through those finger joints that allows this thing to move. So if you break one, you still got more behind there. We're off on the Ridgid here. It's just sitting on a little hinge thing, a little pin hinge here that's also into a little piece of metal, which, as you can tell, there's really, it's just kind of slid into place. It's not very well done. If you're locking the Milwaukee box, nice big hole here. You can drop a full lock in there, a full lotto, a full master lock, a combo, whatever you need to do. That's a big hole. When it comes down to it, this is what makes transportable toolboxes, tool systems, storage systems so great, is how easy they come apart and how they can be stored, whether it be in the back of the truck, the back of your car. Man, I would say you could even strap either one of these to the back of a motorcycle as long as it's just a toolbox section. But let's look at how they come apart. On the Ridgid, you have these little, let's turn this way. This is how it comes apart and goes together. These little handles that are up here, they lock into these little sections, and this is it. You get this little tooth, this little lip. At some point, you know, molded plastic cracks, and yeah, that's going to happen. If you're gentle, if you're not a gorilla when it comes to like throwing your shit around, if you're not an animal, you're going to be fine. This will probably not break on you. But when you take them all apart, though you can pick it up like such, you also have this handle here, which this is probably one of the nicer parts of this toolbox, is this handle. Nice rubber handle into somewhat of a finger joint, has a lockout mechanism. So when it's in this position, it doesn't topple over on you. There's not a lot of play in there when it's loaded up. Nice. These as handles, personally, I think this as a handle is, yeah, this is kind of piss poor. If I got this filled up with all my stuff, this is a little thin for me. This is just not, if I had gloves on, they're going to fit through there depending on if they're, you know, what type of gloves they are, but yeah, this doesn't do much for me at all. These are locks. These are places for boxes to slide in and fit in really nice. And remember, this box is loaded up, okay? When you're releasing this box, press up. There's these little buttons on each one. Press them, slide them forward, lift straight up. All these little dovetails lock into place on the bottom box. Nice little, it's molded plastic, but it's molded, it's engineered fully through. You can't go wrong with that. Handles. Okay, so we got the top handle, same idea. As the handle comes into the 90-degree section, it locks into place. It's not wiggling, it's not jiggling. Mind you, this one's full. The Ridgid was empty. You're moving it around. Great. Okay, now on the side, the carrying handles, this is how it should be. It should be a place for your hand to sit. Thumbs can lock in. You can hold this thing nice and tight. Well, off when it comes to the Ridgid, you've got this dainty little wire handle, this bent. Yeah, so price difference just in these two boxes, these two top boxes. You can see where it's coming into play. You can see the construction, the size, and all of that on why the Milwaukee is a superior product and worth the money. The middle boxes in the whole 3-box kit here is probably going to be the one box that you're going to keep screws, wire nuts, tape, whatever it is, that those little nuanceical things that you carry around with you in your toolbox. Now you've got these 2 huge cavities in order to fill them up. Let's start with the Ridgid. Let's look at this. So closures on the outside, same as the small box, nothing different. Handle on this one is on the top, which makes a hell of a lot of sense, and I'm glad they did this instead of trying to give me one on the front of the box. Because of the shape of the box, it just would have never worked. So opening this thing up, what you get is your classic toolbox. This is just like every other toolbox you've ever had since you were a kid, just a big hole with a tool tray. The tool tray, it's a little flimsy. Let me look at this. Just look at this. It's a little flimsy. I'm not saying that tool trays need to be these, super strong things, but this is going to become the thing that you take out, that you pack up, and you take with you from place to place. You're going to dump screws in here. You're going to start throwing your screwdrivers, your tape measure. It's going to be the kind of thing you set down, especially if you're working residential, because you don't want to scratch the shit out of somebody's floor or countertop. You're going to set that down in order to hold your stuff. Could be a lot better. Cavity inside is nice. It's deep. I gotta say that about this. This is a nice deep toolbox. I'm looking at 9 inches in depth, and the interior inside here is a good 21. If you go in between where they got these little sections that stop this from bouncing around, you're probably looking at about 19 and a half. Now, in my opinion, that makes for a hell of a great space. This box alone, if this was going to be the type of box you throw in the truck in order to keep, stuff in here in case you break down or whatnot, and you just had this one box, this is a great box for that. But as it is part of a pack-out tool, as it is something to move around from job to job, or just to keep in the garage, or depending on where you live in a condo or something, this is going to win you over. Milwaukee is going to win you over every time. Okay, first, before I take this one apart, I got to show you this. Now that's a handle. Look at that. I mean, you can grab it with one hand. You can grab it with 2 hands. You can strap this up and pull it up to a catwalk. If you were working somewhere and you needed to load it up, I mean, that's a great handle. Right in the center, it's just balanced. It's perfect. It's really, really nice. But let's get to the cavity inside. So you got the same closure system, the same release system. You press the button. You even got a handle here. So look at this. Now you got 2 handles on this thing. You can really whip this thing around if you had to. But inside. Now, this is beautiful. We have 2 trays. It divides up. And as you can see, like I said, miscellaneous crap is what this one is really good for. Framing hammer, square, little hand tool, little miscellaneous stuff you just got laying around the house. I mean, I got hundreds of these crappy pliers. I don't know why, but I do. Allen wrenches, planes, knives, a pair of lineman's pliers. I mean, this holds everything nicely. And when you think about what's inside, yeah, miscellaneous screws and stuff like that. Though they make other stuff that holds those small little bits and pieces better, this middle box really does a great job of just being your catch-all, your black hole for your tool. So I'm going to release this one, pull it forward, and though this one came off first, check this out. They all work together nicely. Bam, bam. You can put them in any order that you want. It still goes together as one. It becomes one, which is really nice. It's really nice to have these things work together like that in different sizes. We're down to the bottom. We're down to what could be the important part of this whole toolbox rollaway thing that I'm doing here. We're going to start with the Ridgid. Now, handle on this box. Yeah, in and out of the truck, picking it up, throwing it into the car, whatever you're doing, handles good. Same thing, it locks out at 90 degrees and stays there. It doesn't fall back down. So once you pull it up, it stays in place. The actual locking system on this one is on the side. So once you flop this open, once you get this going, this top comes off. Now you have a bucket. Now you have all kinds of division inside this bucket. Little cubbies to put things, little screwdriver holders, which I've seen very few people point out, but this is nice. You've got a place if you needed to put certain size screwdrivers. You get 3 of them. You could put a number 1, 2, and 3 in there if you had to. The division in this is 0. It's this section here, which is, as a guy, is probably something that you want. Across, we get 20 inches. Depth, we get just over a foot. So you're at 12.5 inside there. And the space in between this and this is a strong 10 3/4. So that's a pretty good spot down there. Now, the part that I really don't like, this section right here, the handle section. And this is where Ridgid, trying to make something that's very handy, in my opinion, this is where they dropped the ball. This is where they could have done a lot better, and Milwaukee completely smoked them in this one little section. This is your handle. This is the size of your handle. My hand on that handle. That's it. Right here on this handle, if I had to squeeze this, I'm releasing it. The release is on the top. So as you move and grab this thing, that's it, you're releasing it. The width. For the width of this box and where this handle lands, it's just too narrow. It's too small. It's just too. And let me put the other box on top of there, because once I get through this, once I get into doing the Milwaukee and I talk about this, I don't think we're going to come back to this one. This is what I'm talking about. Look at your pivoting here. Look at the way this just pivots. The way it's not. This is like luggage. This whole technology that went in here, this whole engineering, this whole design, this is like what you find on inexpensive luggage. And okay, if that's what it is, this makes sense. Because it's inexpensive, right? I mean, you don't expect it to be completely overbuilt for the price. But that's really narrow. That is, and it's flimsy. It's not solid. It doesn't feel solid. It doesn't feel like I could lift this thing full of tools by this handle. And though you're going to say I shouldn't, and you're right, I shouldn't. But just the way these boxes connect, it doesn't feel like I could lift this whole thing full. If I had to go up a curb and I just wanted to lug it up a curb, it just doesn't feel like I could do it. The connections on this, the joints, the way it all goes together, the wheels, and the wheels are different. I mean, the wheels are small. They're really small, and they're not really well made. They're 7-inch wheels. So rolling through limestone, rolling over ballast rock is not going to happen really well with this. So if you're on a site, yeah, this is truly a home box. A box like this needs to stay at home or be residential construction and be ready to replace this often. I'm going to open this up, and it's going to be like the box from Pulp Fiction. You're going to see the gold light that comes through because of how well designed the interior is. Ready? But, so, like I said, it's a huge, just gaping hole for tools. And I don't have a lot in here right now. I've got a sander, I've got a jigsaw, I got a nailer, I got a bar, I got a cheap little miter saw, but I've got space for so much more. There's no division inside. Your space is end to end within the supports. You're looking at 19 inches strong there, and you're looking at 13 inches strong here with a depth of 14 strong. One big, well-made, well-supported, well-designed out cavity as a catch-all for your larger tools. Saw, grinder, crap, whatever you need to throw in here. This is a wonderful space. And the lid, it's on a piano type hinge. I mean, this hinge, you gotta look at this hinge. This is a really nice hinge, the way it's broken out. They use the same gauge of steel that they do on the front clips. Laid in nicely, lots of spaces for this thing to fall apart and still be good. It's just wonderful. Okay, let's close this up. Let's talk about this handle. Obviously, you can see that this is a better handle. Let me put on the other section real quick. Look how easy that was. I'm not fooling around with little clips on the side or nothing. I get into its position, I push it in, it's locked. This is even the wheel side. I'm tipping this over and it's fully, it feels sturdy and strong. All right, the handle. Ready? Button down at the bottom. This comes up. That's the handle. Look at the height difference. I know I said I wasn't going to come back to these, but just look at the height difference. This height, here we are. We're 39.5 inches at the top, 38.5 on the bottom of the handle. The Milwaukee, look at that. We're at 43.5 inches at the top, 42.5 at the bottom. Big, beautiful handle. Now this is how a handle should be. Little kick out on there. Look at that, fully loaded. That thing is just really nice. Move stuff around. This feels good. There's some play in it, but it's the type of play you would expect. And the aluminum shafts that are running down into this other aluminum shaft that all fits down inside here, it's just really nice. Slide it down, it's out of the way of the toolboxes. Really, I mean, this is great. And the wheels. So the size of the wheels on the Milwaukee. 9-inch wheels, heavy duty 9-inch wheels. It's a urethane to a rim. So this urethane is mounted to this rim. And this urethane, to speak of it, is 1.5 inches thick of urethane. Rolling over ballast rock, rolling over limestone, getting to wherever you need to be, rolling this through the mud into the backyard. If you're going to go work on something at home, you've got it. It's going to work just fine. All right, so it's no big secret. I'm in love with the Milwaukee pack. Of course, the diversity of it, the way all these little parts that I didn't even mention, just the way you can strap stuff to it, the way they've got extra handles all the way through, where if you had to have somebody help you carry this, you could. 2 guys could carry this as one, and just the overall build. The Ridgid toolbox, if you're at home, if it's going to be your first toolbox, understandable. You don't spend what this would cost. Mind you, this is like $119. This with the 3 sections from Home Depot from the same place is running $249 on sale, $279 not on sale. It's a big jump in price, I understand, but it's a huge leap in quality, division, and just everything that you want from years to come if you're going to do a home-based toolbox. If you're a contract and you're like, you don't want to spend the money, spend the money. Go with the higher end toolbox. This thing's going to make you money. The fact that you can divide up your tools, you can divide up your parts, whatever you need to walk into a job so you make more money, Packout's going to do it. Ridgid, on the other hand, at some point it's going to break and you're just going to be upset with the fact that it fell apart on you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this little review of toolboxes, it's not the normal thing I do on the Boot Guy Reviews, but this is something personal to me because this is something I needed to buy for myself in order to keep around the house and just when I'm heading out to friends' house to help them with home improvement projects. I just wanted something to keep my tools and to go in and out of the truck easily. If you're interested, swing by my Instagram page. I've got all kinds of photos of me going through these toolboxes, of me looking at the detailed parts of them. If you want to see some more detailed shots of these toolboxes, swing by my Instagram, subscribe to my Instagram. Guys, if you're enjoying my videos, my boot reviews, my clothing reviews, my sock reviews, my toolbox reviews, my Ask the Boot Guy videos, remember you can always buy me a beer. Click the link below the buy me a beer button. Please, if you're enjoying this, send me a few bucks, get me drunk, do whatever it takes. Buy me a beer. If you're against me drinking alcohol and you don't approve, remember I put a button out there for you guys who have those emotional feelings about me. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Crap, you can buy me a whole pound of coffee if you wish, whether it be Costco coffee or $20 a pound Guatemalan coffee. I'll take it. Send me whatever you want. Guys, if you have any questions about my feelings or about how these are working as time progresses, if it's your first time watching this video and it's a year from its production date, you want to know how I'm doing with the Milwaukee Packout, please feel free to contact me on Instagram. Shoot me over a message, shoot me over whatever it is that Instagram does, and I'll get to your question as soon as possible. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.